Hey everybody, Clay Archer, CEO DVC Technology, and I've got a fun one today. Today we're going to review the Unifi Connect Display. I've been wanting to review this for a while, and Unifi was super nice and sent this over. You may have seen our other digital signage videos. I'll put a link to them down in the description below. But we've done quite a few of them, and I've always been intrigued by this particular device. Full disclosure, they did send this Display Connect to me, but all the opinions are my own, and they are not reviewing this content. So let's get right into the specs. This is an ultra bright 21.5-inch touch display. It can display media from your Connect app. It can display web pages. It can display YouTube pages. And the real kicker for me is it can do Android apps. So that really opens up what this device can do because basically anything with an Android app you can run on this display. The unit comes with an included VESA adapter, but it does not have a stand. It's got multiple mounting options, including a display stand, desktop stand, which was what I used. It's got a arm and it's got a flush mount wall kit. Another cool thing about this device is it's PoE++, which means there's only one Cat6 cable that comes in and plugs into the device, and that's all the connectivity you need, which is awesome. The device comes at $699, and I bought the additional $149 display table stand. I will say that that's probably a little expensive for a monitor stand. But you could also get the display arm mount for $299 and the flush wall mount for $199. But with that, this is a typical unified device, really high quality build, really high quality packaging. I will tell you the packaging for the $149 display stand was huge. I thought it was a whole big device in there, and it was just basically the stand. It was just very well packaged. The Connect display is also very well packaged. I'll roll some B-roll of Sean unpacking it, but you can see typical unified stuff here. The VESA mount and the display actually are two separate pieces. They both come together in the $699 price for the Connect display. It actually connects with some magnets and there's a little lock. A very nice little system there. And there's a little door on the RJ45 connector for the Cat6 cable, which is a little cumbersome. I will say it's nice when you put it on the first time. It's a little cumbersome to get it off when you actually have the display mounted. I will say with the table stand, it's very easy to put this into portrait mode. I'm assuming the arm would be the same, so you can go back and forth between landscape and portrait very easily. The only commentary I would say is the display table stand is probably a little expensive at $149, but it is very high quality and you get what you pay for there. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the software and get this Connect display connected. All right, so let's just jump right into the software. You can see I'm logged into my cloud key here, and it automatically detected the UC display. I'm going to go ahead and go add here, and let's see what we do. It sees it here. It sees its name. I could click locate here too, and it would put a notification up on the screen. So, but we'll go UC display front door. My goal here is we're going to use this as a display for our Connect cameras at the front desk so somebody can monitor what's going on around the building and let people in the door and whatnot. So anyways, I've got all the information there. And I'm going to go ahead and click adopt. And you can see it's adopting there. It's updating to the latest version of the software there. You can see my other display cast stuff here, my Cast Pros and my Cast. All right, we're on. So cool. So I'm going to go ahead and click in here and just walk you through it. It's the first time I've seen it, so we're doing this together. I've got UC display, its power is on, so you can see that there. No content is assigned to that. I'll click on that in a second. Automations, schedule your digital signage, for example, create an automation to present content for a special event. Content on multiple devices at the same time, manually or on a schedule. Gives you the status of it, so that's all good. I'm going to go over into settings here. I can make a group for this. I'm only going to have this one, so I'm not going to do that. I can do power, volume, display brightness, auto sleep, auto rotation. We'll go to sleep after 10 minutes of activity. I would like to be able to maybe have some control over that. I don't know if there's another spot there, but let's take a look. Mode here is web, Android page, media, or YouTube, and then URLs and auto reload. You download support file, locate, which will put a identifier up on the screen, restart, or remove. So if you had 10 of these and you want to know which one this one particularly is, you click locate and it would identify on the screen. I'm going to go back over here under overview and I'm going to go no content assigned. I'm going to go assign now. That's just going to bring me over here. Okay, that's cool. All right, so for content, I can do web pages. I can put a URL in here. I can do Android app. If I do Android app, I want to click there. I can do either Unifi Protect. I've also got this option for manage app where I can, if I wanted to, I could click here and I could upload another APK. We'll play around with that here in a bit. So basically add your own custom apps to it. And I'm going to go down to media And so media is just going to be able to take all of my other DisplayCast media and put it on there if I wanted to use it. We've done several videos on DisplayCast. I'll put some links in the description down below, but we'll touch on that here in a second. And then we've also got YouTube, which basically you're able to put a YouTube URL there and put that in there. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and go into Android app and let's click Protect. So the main reason we got this and the way I'm going to use it is we're going to use it at the front desk so that the person sitting at the front desk can see all of the cameras in Protect and let somebody in the front door based off of those images. So I'm going to go back into the YouTube room. We'll look at the UC display and how Protect looks on it and how I'm going to use it actually in the office. All right, so we've chosen Protect from inside the software. Now when we go to the device, you can see that it says Unifi Protect on it, and it's giving us a activate.ui.com and a code. So you go on your cell phone. So I went in on my cell phone and go ahead and put that code in and activate it. And once that's done, it's going to show you the devices on the network that have Unifi Protect installed. I'm going to go ahead and click on the ENVR here. And it gave me a little warning that we're going to connect there. I'm going to go ahead and click on Trust. And you can see that it brings us into the main dashboard here where it's showing detections as they are happening in real time. Pretty cool stuff. So you can touch into any video there and then scrub up and down the timeline. The timeline is very responsive. It's really nice interface here as far as the touch goes. You can click in the top left corner to go back to the main screen at any point. You can also go into live view, any views that you have up. It'll show all your cameras or, just certain cameras if you've got a view defined. And inside of live view, you can double click on anywhere in the screen and bring that screen up to be full screen. But yeah, obviously, this is obviously just normal functionality of the app, and it's really responsive, really good looking video, exactly what you'd expect from a unified device. You can pinch in and zoom and, do your normal, regular stuff. So for our use cases, this is how we're going to use it. We're going to have it so that you can see all the cameras outdoors and see if somebody is at the front door ready to get in. You also get a toolbar across the bottom where you can go into individual cameras, take a look at them, change settings on them, everything basically that you could do in the regular app. You also, if you wanted to, could control the PTZ with on-screen display, just like you could from an iPad or an Android app. Pretty cool stuff. Not sure how much I would really use that, but pretty cool that we can do it from the device. We can also go in and see all our detections if we want to go back and scrub through and find an individual license plate or person or detection that just like you would in the Android app. You could also change your settings here. Not sure that you would do that, but you have that option if you want to. So basically, as I said before, all the functionality that you have of your regular Android app inside this nice 21.5-inch display. So next we went into websites and we put in AccuWeather. Now we're going to click on the screen here and put in Jacksonville, Florida so that it comes to Jacksonville, Florida. And you can see we can go through this web page just like you normally would for any other web page. Really nice, responsive. Touchscreen works great. I'm going to double click on the map here. I will bring it up. We're going to close out of this ad. Then we'll go into the map here and we will make it full screen, which is really cool. So if you just wanted this, displaying the weather somewhere, now obviously this is an example. You can do this with a ton of different things. But, the cool thing about this is this, I don't know what this is using on the back end as JavaScript or some kind of programming language, but the Android app handles it very well. You can see here, just like your desktop app, it's got to scroll through one time to draw the rendering. But once it draws the rendering here, then it's just going to go through and play the scroll of the weather patterns on an infinite loop, which would be pretty cool. Next, we'll go ahead and go to YouTube. We'll throw some content up here on the screen. Obviously, this is just my YouTube channel playing a regular DPC technology or YouTube video, but you could put this on loop and just, put whatever content you wanted on your display and just roll it over and over again. Last but probably most important for me is the APK. I'm going to go real quick here and load in Home Assistant, this is a cool little program that lets you run home automations. And so you're able to connect like your Nest, your lights, anything in your smart home to this app. You need a server to run this, so it runs on the server on the back end. And on the front end, though, you're able to use this APK to use the Android app to run Home Assistant. I don't have Home Assistant running in the office, but I will just launch this to show you that you can launch the app here. All right, so let's jump back into the software. And before I go to the software, I'm going to go to GitHub for the Home Assistant APK, and I'm going to download it. You could just Google download Home Assistant's APK. You're going to find the spot. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, let that download. And truth be told, I've already downloaded that, but let's go here and we'll go to Android app. And we're going to go to Manage App, and you can see I already got Home Assistant here. So if I didn't have it here, I would click this Upload button, and it's going to give me the option there to download that from the download dropdown. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because I've already got it here. I'm going to go ahead and close out of here, and I'm just going to pull it down from the dropdown, and I'm going to go apply on that. So now when we go back to the unit, you can see I don't have a Home Assistant running at the office. So it is asking me for the IP address of that Home Assistant server. So I could click that in there and we could just go right in there and it would bring up Home Assistant on my screen just like it was the Android app on anything else. So that's a really cool feature. And now you can run basically anything that has an Android APK and just boom, boom, boom. There you go. Bob's your uncle and you're running that on this display. So with that, let's go back to my office and let's discuss who this is for. All right, with all of that, let's go through. I'm going to talk about my pros and my cons and who I think this device is really for and whether or not it's the right device for you. First of all, the price. $699 is probably a fair price for this, but somewhere between $150 to $300 for the mounting devices, I think it starts to get a little pricey. Unifi makes really nice stuff, but that's starting to creep out of the average Joe's budget. Besides the price, there's one other thing that it's a small little thing and maybe nobody will notice it, but for me, it really sticks out like a sore thumb. And it's the problem with designing electronics in white. The stand and the bezel on this are just a shade of white different from each other. On the desktop stand, it's not quite super noticeable, but if this was the wall mount and the two colors were a little bit off, it would stick out like a sore thumb to me. So that's a con for me for sure. I do really like the stands and I like their functionality, but the plastics are just a hair off in shade. So that's number two. Number three, I'm going to say switching between the APKs. I do like the way that you're able to switch between APKs and you're able to do it on your phone, which is pretty nice. And for digital signage, you really probably don't want to give a ton of control because people will hack in and start changing APKs or whatever. But I would like there to be a mode maybe where you could have a button down at the bottom. So let's just say you have Protect up and you wanted to switch to Home Assistant or something, and you could just click on the screen and do that. And maybe that's in some sort of administrator role, but that would be kind of cool. Not have to go to your phone to switch through. I also would like to have some like hot buttons there, so you could just have 3 or 4 of them on your app or on your desktop and just click back and forth between them really quickly. But having it in an app and having to go on on your phone or on the desktop and open up Connect and get in there and change it. It seems like there could be a faster way to do that and maybe do that on the screen itself. That would be awesome. And the last one is obviously that there's no stand that comes with it at all. So, at that $699 price, unless you're going to do a base amount to something you already have, which probably would look kind of janky, you're going to have to spend money on the mount itself. So those are my gripes. Obviously, this is a premium product and a lot of those were around price and what's included there. You could argue that both ways, that not including the stand is saving everybody the cost, from $699 to, let's say it was $750 with the stand or whatever. It's saving everybody that expense. And I understand that. So, I could see that both ways. But with that, let's jump over into the pros. And ironically, number one is going to be price. So let's just say you're looking at a home assistant project and you want to put a device in the wall and you want it to be to code. Well, trying to find a 21-inch tablet that is PoE++ is it's you're not gonna find it, right? So the cool part about this is you're able to buy an off-the-shelf device with a mount, and it will meet code in most areas. So let's just say you went and bought a tablet and put it in the wall. You would have to deal with the power, and how are you gonna have that inside the wall with a connection inside the wall? That's not gonna meet code in most of the United States of America. So, could you do it? Sure, you could, but would it be the code? It probably would not be. Also, just having that one PoE++ connection is really simplifies everything, and it makes the installation really amazing. Not to mention, if you're going to do a tablet, there's no way you're going to find one that's 21 inches with touchscreen. But for $699, I think you're looking at a pretty unique device here. And if you are, looking for a control panel for your home assistant, I don't think you're going to find something better in this ballpark that's going to be this clean at this price level. So I will give that a plus for price. Also, and this is probably a bigger market, if you're using digital signage, the flexibility of all the things you can do with this, with the Android built in, it makes it pretty compelling at this price point. There's a lot of mounting flexibility. And with the Connect software, you could run signage on it for some point in time. You can have it be a check-in kiosk for some period of time. In our office, we have a meeting room that we share with our renters, and to be able to have an app on that to where people could sign in for the room, really cool stuff that you can do because of the APK integration. So that brings me to my third and kind of biggest one there is that APK integration really makes this pretty unique in the digital signage, space because you're able to kind of run this as an Android device and be able to do digital signage on it. really opens up a ton of control. Not only that, you can also just run web pages on it. So, for the flexibility of a mobile kiosk, you really can kind of do a ton of stuff, and it's pretty easy to manage it in the Connect software. That brings me to my next one, which is Connect in the app scheduling. So, like as I mentioned before, let's just take my use case in the meeting room. If this is outside the meeting room, during the day, I could just have it scheduled to say meeting room this way, or our logo or something on it. And then when it's the appropriate time, I can just have it scheduled to run the next thing, which is really pretty cool, that you're able to get all that kind of Connect scheduling in this device. And finally, my last one is the build quality on this is really nice. I mean, is it the best tablet you've ever seen in your life? No, but at 699, it's doing a lot of stuff here. It's big, it's attractive. So as always, you're going to give it a little bit of a bump up with that kind of unify quality. So that begs the question, who is this for? If you are looking for a digital signage slash kiosk solution where you're going to have the end user do some interface to it, and you have some Android app needs slash development on the back end, this is going to be an amazing, device for you. And I have to say, for those people, this is kind of a no-brainer. If your point of sale software has an APK, or you have something that you're going to run out there, your check-in software or that kind of stuff, this device is going to be a really nice device for you. I also think that if you're building a house and you want the ultimate home assistant dashboard, you're not going to go wrong with this device. It really is pretty impressive for that kind of stuff. So for me, I just wanted to be able to run Protect. I've got somebody sitting at the front desk. I want them to be able to see all the cameras. They have the ability to just to buzz people in, and I want them to be able to see everything that's going on in the parking lot. I want to, add more apps to it and maybe run Home Assistant or something up there. I have the ability to do it. So for me, because I'm so deep into the Unifi ecosystem, it makes sense. Am I probably overpaying by a couple $100 over, another solution I could put there? Sure. But is it just going to turn on and work every day? Yes. And that has a lot of value for me. So I hope that clears up any questions you may have. If you have any more questions or comments, please put them in the comments down below. I read all of them. And as always, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.